This is a quick introductory video on how to tap holes. Now, when I say tap holes, I mean put a thread into a hole. So if you see, I've got two plates here. If I wanted to put this plate on top of this plate and use a bolt to secure it, like this one here, I would need to tap the hole first. At the moment, there's just a hole in there and there's a hole in there. But I need to make this hole accept the thread on this bolt so I can tighten it up. The way this is done is we use taps. Now, most taps come in a pack of 3, similar to this. So you can see we have 3 stages of tap in there. And it's as simple as drilling the right size hole, making the tap run through that hole, and then you can just put your bolt in. It's quite a simple process. But you do need to make sure you do it right. So you'll notice that the first 2 drills that I have here, I have one there and I have one there. This is my tapping drill. So I need to drill a hole with this drill that is a certain size that will allow this tap to pass through it. Now in this case, I'm going to tap an M8 hole. So this is an 8mm bolt. This is an M8 bolt. So I need to use a tap that suits this particular bolt. I have M8 taps. So my tapping drill needs to be a 6.8. You can determine what size drill you need by referring to something like a Zeus book or a tapping and clearance guide. Or if you're really stuck, just Google. On this plate, I have already drilled a 6.8mm hole with that drill. And then on this plate, this is the plate that the bolt is going to pass through. So we want the bolt to pass through that particular plate, and then we want it to screw into that one. So this has a clearance hole drilled in it. And the clearance hole is drilled with this drill, and this is an 8.5 in this instance. And again, that has already been drilled in there. So we don't actually need to do any drilling in this video. So my 8.5 drill can go over there, my 6.8 can go over there, and we can look at the actual taps themselves. Now, I said earlier there's 3 stages of tap in this box. We have a taper tap, an intermediate tap, and a plug tap. The reason they have different names is that they have different levels of taper on the start of them. So you should start with the taper tap, and this is a tap that has a smoother start on it. It has more of a conical start, so it doesn't cut as much material straight away. It starts the thread. It doesn't get loaded up too heavily with material. The intermediate tap comes next, and that cuts the thread a little bit deeper, and then the plug tap finally is what finishes the hole out, and you can see that it has teeth all the way to the top of the blade. So if we were to bring them out, our taper tap is the one at the top here, and it has more of a cone to it and it has less teeth at the start. The intermediate tap has teeth starting a little bit further up, and then the plug tap finally has teeth all the way to the end of the tap. The plug tap is especially useful if you are tapping a blind hole. That is a hole that doesn't pass all the way through an object and just goes, say, halfway into a block of material. The plug tap is the tap that you need to use to ensure that your thread goes all the way down. On thinner materials, you can sometimes get away with just using an intermediate tap or a taper tap if the tap is passing all the way through the material. Our material is 6mm steel, so I'm going to use the taper and the intermediate tap for this job. On the bench below, we'll see we also have a tap bench. A tap bench is used to hold our taps, and they are generally adjustable. One handle tends to be fixed, and the other handle, as we spin it, will result in our jaws opening and closing. So when we place our tap inside of our tap bench, we can tighten the handle up, and our tap will be seated squarely, and we are ready to begin tapping.